Good morning, students. Today we will learn this chapter number 8, digestion of food. So, open your book at page number 60. Let us start. Each and every cell in our body needs food. The cells, however, cannot eat a banana or a slice of bread. The food that we eat needs to be broken down into a simpler form before it can be absorbed by the body. This digestion of food is done by a series of organs along the path that food takes inside the body, which form the body's digestive system. Let us learn about where the food goes after it enters the mouth and what happens to it. The taking in of food is known as ingestion. The food we eat that goes through many processes of digestion. We need digestion of the food because the cells of our body cannot directly absorb the nutrients. It needs to be broken into small pieces. Then it needs to be absorbed by the cell. This process is called digestion. The process in which the food is taken is called ingestion. In the mouth, the food is first chewed well by the teeth in our mouth. Chewing makes the food pieces smaller and softer. While food is being chewed, saliva juice is secreted into the mouth from the salivary glands behind the cheeks and under the tongue. So, when we eat the food, a juice secretes from the glands. This is called saliva. Saliva has an enzyme that helps to change starch into sugar. An enzyme is a chemical secreted inside our body that helps in digestion. In chapter 3, we learned how the sugar produced during photosynthesis is stored after changing into starch. The reverse of this process occurs inside the mouth. This is why if a piece of bread is chewed for a long time, after a while it stays sweet. So, this saliva has enzyme and this enzyme helps in digestion. This enzyme has a chemical. This chemical changes the starch into sugar. We learned that in the process of photosynthesis, sugar changes into starch. Here, the starch changes into simpler form, that is sugar. Okay. In the stomach, the tongue is used to taste our food. It is also helps us to speak clearly. After the food has been chewed well, the tongue pushes it into the food pipe through the gullet. The food pipe, which is also called the esophagus, takes the food down to the back-like muscular organ called stomach, where it stays for about 4 hours. Here it is churned and mixed with an enzyme that breaks down proteins. So student, look, after chewing the food, the tongue helps us to move the food into the stomach. This is stomach. Here the food remains for 4 hours and it breaks down into small pieces and an enzyme helps to break down the food into proteins. In the small intestine, from the stomach the food enters a long coiled tube called the small intestine. Glands like the pancreas and livers pour in more digestive juices. The food is completely broken down in the small intestine. The inner wall of this organ is richly supplied by blood vessels. The broken down food is absorbed by the blood and taken to all the parts of the body. The undigested waste matter is flushed along by water and ravages into the next organ, the large intestine. So this is small intestine. Liver and pancreas secrete some juice. This juice helps the food to digest completely. There are some blood vessels inside this organ. These blood vessels takes the food to all the parts of our body, and then the cells absorb the nutrients from the blood. And the waste food parts goes into the large intestine. In the large intestine is a thick tubular organ where water is absorbed from the undigested part of food. What remains of the food that was eaten is unabsorbed wastage and soft roughage. This is collected in a rectum and thrown out of the body from time to time through the anus as feces. The throwing out of wastage is known as digestion. The large intestine absorbs the water from the waste of food, and then it's come to the anus. It throws out the wasted part of the foods as stool. This is called ingestions. Okay, so read this topic very carefully. This is your homework for today. Only read this page carefully. Hope today's topic is clear. See you in the next class. Bye bye, students.